If you will remember, back in April, we featured the quest for justice of the Wong family, whose kids, they are twin boys on the spectrum, non-speaking. They were abused by their behavior teacher aide. We got to speak to the parents who launched a battle against the school district in court. And after delays and after finally 4 weeks of everyday hearing, the jury has reached a verdict. Here is the story.
Nobody wanted to listen to our story. I felt disregarded, that it was just another child abuse case. But this is regarding your own children, my children. I need to find somebody to listen to our story.
This is a fight for our kids, first of all. We fought for our kids who were being abused at school. They were being abused for months and months before anybody said anything about it. Once we found out about it, the school still denied it and didn't say anything about it, and we were not going to let this slide, not only for our kids, but for all parents of kids who send their kids to school every single day. And we didn't back down, and we wouldn't back down. And so here we are today, after the trial is finished.
Nadine and Charles, first time I sat down with you like this was at your house back in April. We were talking about your quest for justice for your boys. After the trial is finished, you came out victorious. You got the justice that you were fighting for. What does this mean to you, Nadine?
Well, this is very important because we became the voice for the voiceless, my children. Our story has been shared, justice has prevailed, and now we can move forward.
Right, despite the judgment, $45 million. But more than that, you won, your voice was heard, you were listened to, which was a stark contrast from when this was beginning. During that long years, was there ever a point when you said, let's just give up?
No.
Never. These are one of the things that you cannot let slide. You do not let the school get away with it, and we weren't going to. There's no way.
There's no question about that.
How are people reacting to you now, and what's the difference between then, when you're trying to get your story out, to now that you've gotten a verdict, and a historic one at that?
It's interesting because it's a historic moment, but back then when I tried to talk to the press, talk to anyone, I felt the same as my children when their voice was not being heard and my voice was not being heard either. I was grateful that you listened to our story. I'm grateful to the special needs community and my friends who helped and held my hand during this tumultuous 4 or 5 years. I mean, without that support system, it would be very devastating, but regardless, we knew we had to do this for the boys.
5 years. How did you survive, Charles?
You survive because you fight for your kids, because you love your children. There's nothing that you would not do for them. I mean, the pinnacle of what we've reached throughout all this time, trying to find justice, trying to find people to listen to us, fighting the school district, it all came down to this moment for the jury to decide. And they decided in our favor, and that was the most exhilarating experience I think I could feel.
To see each juror there knowing that these were 2 vulnerable children and the atrocities and the evil things that happened, I mean, you see the human side of each juror, and we are so grateful that justice truly has been served.
It's one of the biggest verdicts against a school ever. So that's one way in which it's historic, but it's also historic because it's respecting the fact that what we're holding them accountable for is causing post-traumatic stress disorder in children. And so it also sends a message that mental health issues are real and they apply even if you have a special needs child, and maybe especially if you have a special needs child. So it was a jury honoring mental health struggles associated with early childhood abuse. The biggest thing is it was been an honor being with the Wong family and caring for these boys, probably one of the great honors of my life. But the most important thing is hopefully somebody who's on the fence about making a report to Child Protective Services won't be on the fence. Make the call, save a kid.
How were the boys? How did you break the news to them?
Well, the 4 arduous, tumultuous weeks of sitting there in the courtroom, each morning I would look at them and tell them what we're doing to help them, to be their voice. We are their voice.
Right.
And each night, they knew Mom and Dad were fighting for them. Each night they would crawl into my bed, one on each side, and I look at them and I tell them, justice served your story. Mommy and dad fought for you. You have a support system, and this will not happen to you again, and this will not happen to any of your friends. And we will do the best we can. And at the end of the night, right before they sleep, they both kiss me and turn around and go to sleep. That's the past 4 weeks, and that's how it's been. They know that we are there for them.
The fight for our kids may have finished with this trial, but right now what we're doing is we want to send a message to the community and for the community, letting them know that we're not going to allow the school to hurt our children. We're not going to allow the school district to hurt special needs kids who can't speak for themselves. We're going to continue to fight for that, and we're going to continue to try and let everybody in the community hold the school accountable for what they do.
Hopefully this will be the start of change.
Absolutely.
My children are the other parent's children. Your child is my child. Nobody wants a child to be hurt. Nobody wants child abuse for any child. It's not acceptable.
They thought wrong about the Wongs.
They thought wrong about the
Yes.
Wongs. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle.